All right, folks, it's another Wednesday here, and it's also a holiday. So, Eid Mubarak to our viewers, and we wish you well this season. All right, welcome. We remain who we are, social scientists, and of course, molders of opinion. And welcome to the Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, today on the program, Presidency replies Tambuwal says Buhari physically fit for second term as Buhari demonstrates fitness for re-election by trekking 800 meters. Labour Minister Ngige accuses governors of delaying new minimum wage, says they are yet to submit proposal for new wage, and later on we'll share this with you. Federal government begins reconstruction of Benue villages destroyed by herdsmen. Let's announce the hangout men. Babajide Kolade Otitoju is here. Kolade, happy holiday to you.
Thank you.
Baraka to you.
That's no holiday for me.
Okay. Gani is more the Muslim here. So, Gani Kayode Balogu GKB, I greet you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Citizen. Yeah.
Okay then. Now the team is ready. I hope you are. You know, old age is not so bad when you consider the alternative, if you see what I mean. After all, old age has been denied so many people who wanted it. In country leadership, it's not so much the physical aging process as it is the age of the leader's thoughts. President Muhammadu Buhari announced his intention to run for a second term in office on April 9 this year. The statement largely split opinion in the country. You should expect that. But Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal had last week revived the debate about the president's fitness, and he said the president was too old to rule the country beyond 2019. The presidency has fired back. It stresses that the number one man is as fit as a fiddle. After all, it's not about how old you are, but how fit. You want to balance that. It's not how old you are, how fit you are, or a combination of both.
Yes, it's not how old you are, but how fresh your ideas are. And I think that the spokesman of the president shouldn't always respond to everything coming from the opposition. In this case, the president does not have to prove to anyone that he's physically fit. His doctors have pronounced him fit, and we can see quite clearly that the president is a lot stronger than he was before his long health-induced layoff. So there's no point to prove to anyone. This president is a lot stronger than before. The danger in trying to show that, by walking 800 meters, the president is fit, is that it helps the critic of the president to draw attention to the fact that the president doesn't value working for the people. Working as in
WRK,
as much as walking. And you and I know that the president is not going to be judged by how far he can walk. Even if he chooses to walk from Daura to Lagos, he's not going to be judged by that. So in my view, when
it's not about speed and distance.
It's not even.
It's about the work, the quality of work.
Can deliver.
Yeah.
It's about what you can deliver to the people. So if Tambuwal talks about the president being too old, in my view, the minders of the president, those who work for him, those who have his mandate to shape the opinion of Nigerians, ought to be talking about what he's been able to do as president and how that offers hope to our people.
In spite of this brouhaha about age and fitness.
Yes, because it's not really, you can see what the leader of Malaysia is doing. He's a lot older than Buhari.
Far older.
He's a lot older than Buhari.
A Cameroon man is.
No, I don't want to use the example of
Okay,
Cameroon.
it's all right.
It's not
You
a
don't
great-
want to go
it's not-
there.
I'm talking about a great world leader
Okay,
who
okay.
had served before, delivered, and had to be prevailed upon to come back, and is working now. He's doing great things, and he's older than Buhari by far. So the point really is that they ought to be telling Tambua that, Tambua, yes, we really don't, what you are saying amounts to nothing.
In terms of the calendar, he is old.
This is what the president, they don't even need to talk about the age. Remember when Clinton said, my issue is not with Bob Doe's age, but the age of his ideas. So they really ought to be telling Tambua, in responding to Tambua, they ought to be telling Nigerians, these are the things that this president has done, these are the things that this president has shown us he can do. And there are things that they can point to. For example, if in a country you were able to recover 73 billion from the whistleblower policy alone in just 3 months, it's significant. If in trying to get Nigerians to take the idea of paying taxes seriously, and within so short a time, we've been able to recover, through the whistleblower policy, 13.8 billion within a very short time. And of course,
it's an achievement.
It's an achievement.
It is.
And then, of course, the TSA that has effectively plugged the loopholes through which people are bleeding our country. I mean, these are the things they should be talking about. They don't have to respond exactly to in kind. They ought to redirect the discussion to the good things that the president has been able to do. Look, for me, one of the greatest achievements of the government is the good image that we have now. World leaders inviting the president to come, and talk to them. Look at Trump even inviting the president and telling him, look, I want to help you to defeat insecurity.
Yeah.
And whatever you need, I'll provide.
The pariah status appears
that has been dealt with.
Off.
That has been dealt with. So now the achievements of the government are the things that you need to talk about. Not talk about whether Buhari can walk faster than a 10-year-old boy. No.
And taking...
Yes, because at the end of the day, look at what Atiku is saying, that, I want to show Nigerians how I can work for them, not feed them with illusions. The president, I'm telling you, the president that I know, at the point when he decided to work, he didn't do that to prove a point. Buhari is not an impressionable person, except for those who do not know him. He doesn't do things to impress you and I. He just does things the way it comes from his heart. So if that was not his intention, if his intention was not to prove to people that, look, I'm so strong, I can walk around freely, then the people who work for him should be more tactical to actually draw attention away from the points that Tambua is trying to make and talk about his achievements.
Let me tease GKB a little. We must talk about it. The image makers of our people in government. Very key. And a great many of them go for our colleagues. So where's the problem?
The problem is that the newsroom is a world apart from running the PR department of a governor or a president.
Two different things.
Elements. And so the shock, what I call the cultural shock of coming in to government and realizing that you play a very small and insignificant part in a big wheel. It's one of the things that bring reality down to a lot of our colleagues who took up this job. Because what you're expected to do, unlike in the newsroom, you are in total control of the narrative. You are being fed things to say. And no matter how much you try to call an iron, it will always straighten out. It's a problem that we face as a people. But the problem is that if you're outside looking in, it looks so simple. For example, like they said, the reason why they should react to Tambua, to me, is a waste of time. Reply at all. I'm not even talking about whether they change the narrative or the other. Because this man is well known to be a shifty person. And what he's saying is basically a cover for the fact that a second-term Buhari presidency effectively seals the careers of anybody from the north after 2023. So whatever they can do to ensure that they cut away at the ebb of his popularity in his base, they will do. That's to be expected. And if you decide to throw a stone at every barking dog, you have no time to really bring out the things that government has done as a government. Because you are wasting time. They will do this more. Tomorrow they will still look for another thing to talk about. And they will keep doing the same thing. Your job basically is to redirect people's attention to what is important.
JKB, quickly, and Jide, I cannot let it slip me by.
Okay.
When Garba told us the last time that the president, rather than say, look, the president has just come back.
Yeah.
He is working from home. Don't tell us about some flaming rats somewhere and so on. So we need to do a lot of re-engineering, you know. If I want to burnish your image, there are so many angles.
Yeah, but you must also remember that most of the time, somebody gave another, and about 4 or 5 other layers who will have to make an input.
Okay.
So they might become confused. The president will have told him, I'm working from home. And then somebody will tell him, no, that's too direct. Tell them that your office is being renovated.
Try to explain why.
You understand? So you keep on going around. The man himself has told you what he wanted. I want to work from my house.
Yeah, period.
But there are people has a way of saying you must create an impression that you are working or that you are close. That's what I call the narrative of the third party in our governance. Yeah. When you read the news item, you know exactly where it's coming from. You have an idea what they're trying to say. But you will not see the truth until maybe the third paragraph or the fourth paragraph of the story. Because they will try to banish and garnish and add onion and add pepper to something that's very simple. The president, who is covering from certain elements, will be working from home, period.
No
need to hide anything.
No embellishments.
And he just came back and said, okay, I'm in Daura, I'm at home. I feel like getting some fresh air. It has nothing to do with politics. He has the right to do that. Of course, I may say that he needed to do that to show his freedom. No. The man doesn't need to do anything. Whether he comes out to walk to his house or not, those people will still follow him back home. The vehicles or the convoy will still move at a snail's speed. In fact, it's better for him to walk. It's faster than for him to go to the car and then stand on top of the roof and start shaving. That will be slower than him walking even to his home. Because when he's walking, people, of course, will clear the road for him. With the car, he will get home maybe around 2 hours later. So we've told them before, and we are telling them again, your job is not to create fantasy around the president.
Especially our current number one is not giving to too many words.
The man doesn't give a cow's behind what you say of him. He will do what he has to do. He may be wrong, but he will know that this is what he's going to do. And instead, don't try to garnish it with orishirishi. It will not work.
Again, as you said, the opposition will not keep quiet. Yeah. It's not in their nature, especially at a time like this.
No. So even they think that they know that this president is very popular, especially in his base in the north, and of course, the bulk of the voting Nigerians are in the north. So they will try their best to continue to nibble away at his popularity. And the truth is, they just need to show people what the president is doing. And there are some things that the president is doing that they are not even telling Nigerians enough. Look at the progress that we've made with the ease of doing business. They are not making enough noise even about that. And under the leadership of the vice president, so much is being done.
Jide, and we live in a country where
we distract ourselves with little things.
Yeah,
inanities.
It's becoming difficult. You live in a country where it's presumed it's difficult to be good. If you get what I mean. You are doing a job as a president of a country, even though not widely publicized. You fail to see that.
But something is being done. You see, and sometimes, let me tell you what I've discovered. Rebuilding is usually very slow. Destroying is usually... Look, if we want to do like our building here, it's fairly big. If you want to do a controlled immolation of this building, maybe in seconds, this whole building will go down.
yeah.
Because once you have put the explosive devices
At strategic point.
yes, with the right TNT, you put them. I'm telling you, in seconds, this whole building will come down. But if you are to build this building, it will take you maybe years. Even
And you are dealing with an impatient people. Is it in our genes?
I'm heading there. Okay. I'm heading there because there are many things that we need to change. Not just things that happened in the last 10 years. There are things that we need to change that began to go wrong as far back as 30, 40 years ago. So this government has to focus on doing that and remind people that rebuilding is a slow process. People must realize that. People must admit that. And the government has to faithfully do that without allowing itself to be distracted, without even thinking that, oh, I have a re-election to contend with. You have to stay focused, work for the people.
There's no re-election for you.
Yes, work for that day. Work for that day. I think as if you have that day as your last day in office. That is how you can give yourself immortality. And once you are focused on doing that, do not bother about what people say. Remember, I gave an example here. You were the anchor on the day of what happened with Ahmed Jacquet, the
French coach.
Yes, the coach of France.
1998.
When the whole nation rose against him because he was not going to take David Ginola
and Cantona. I remember that.
Cantona to the World Cup. And these were fans' favorites.
And the current French coach decided to drop a favorite. That's, what's his name now? The Real Madrid guy, Karim Benzema.
Karim Benzema. So, but, there was not much campaign against this one when they dropped Cantona. There was not much.
Yeah.
Because people recognize that something happened and all that. But in the case of those two guys, there was a serious campaign. That what kind of a coach is this? They abused him, they called him names. But when he won the World Cup without those boys, the Sports Writers Association in their country called a press conference and publicly apologized. It's surreal. I've not heard where it happened.
Yeah.
These things happen. Once you are focused,
that's the power of conviction.
Yes, it was
your
convinced
eyes
that he was doing
on the ball.
Eyes on the ball.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. The president and his people have to focus on that which is right. Once you do, because I always say Nigerians are not difficult to please.
All right. Okay.
Solve the insecurity problems, focus on developing the economy, make greater progress even in agriculture as you are doing, continue to fight corruption, even if it means stepping on toes within your own party. You must do that. Once you do that, then the Nigerian people can see that this man has done well. Honestly, no matter what anyone says, they will know that this is a hero.
Me, at the hangout, I know you are like Lister engine. When they start you, now wahala to stop you. So
no, you start me. No, you start me.
No. The backroom boys say that's enough. But for us, they say one man's meat is another man's poison. We have got to a stage in the country where we can say we have a common meat and a common poison. So we go for them, either of them. Now, still to come, Labour Minister Ngige accuses governors of delaying new minimum wage. He says they are yet to submit proposal for the new wage. Interesting. Please stay for that. All right, then, welcome back. Now, one is not so sure if it is a Nigerian thing or an African thing to not take responsibility but pass the buck. The APC government had promised tackling the new minimum wage question on assuming office over 3 years ago. Now, close to the end of its first term, a new living minimum wage for the Nigerian worker appears to be a bridge too far. Labour and Employment Minister Dr. Chris Ngige has carpeted all the 36 state governors as being responsible for the delay in fixing a new national minimum wage. The governors have refused to come up with an agreeable template for the new wage, according to the minister. At a time like this, Jide and GKB, who is saying what? Now, Jide, who is saying what?
I like the honesty of the Labour Minister, because whether we like it or not, he is the person that Nigerians will be dragging by his coattails on this matter, because he's the deputy chairman of the committee, the tripartite committee. He's the one that we know. On that committee is the most recognizable face. He is the person in charge of labor. If we are to hear anything, if a decision gets made today, he is the one who will communicate it to us. Now, some months back, this minister said that the new minimum wage was no longer feasible in September because of the backlash, the terrible blowback that he got for what he said. He recanted that no, it's still possible for us to work within the timetable that we were given. But you and I know, based on what he just said, that timeline is no longer feasible. It's no longer feasible. Governors, there are 6 governors on the committee, each governor representing a geopolitical zone. Now, these guys have been talking for months and months. And as we speak, there is no agreement on what should be paid. On Facebook, I was seeing comments, no Nigerian government can pay this minimum wage. And I was asking, because there's so much ignorance peddling on social media. I said, okay, what is the minimum wage that you are even talking about, that you said only Lagos can pay? The truth is, there is no agreement reached. Nothing ruled out, nothing ruled in. No agreement reached. The governors have refused to go back to get back to the committee and say, okay, we now have unanimity. This is the amount that we think we can pay. So, and there are critical stakeholders in this matter, because it's not you who is going to pay. It's not GKB. No matter how deep his pocket is, it's not the one who is going to pay. It's these governors. So they are the most critical stakeholder in this affair.
The whole thing,
And once they don't come up with what should be paid, then the rest of us are just wasting time. So this is the situation. How much longer they want to keep Nigerians waiting, I don't know. But there's a message that this gets across to our people. These governors are reluctant to pay. The issue is, I'm sure they even look at this matter, that what are these people talking about? We are struggling to pay, and they want a new minimum wage.
With election just how many months down
the election is by far the biggest distraction to governance. Every other, their brains are the brains of this government.
Wired in that direction?
Yes, just in that direction. There's nothing you can tell them. Some of the, even in their states, some of the most basic approvals that commissioners will seek will take a back seat if it has to contend with politicking at this time. It's a situation. I've seen it. There was a governor who told me, look, if you want to come to our state to do business, you better do it before September. Once it's September, we are not talking to you. Yeah, because we try to do some documentaries and all that in states. So, no, if before September, you better come. If you come in September, we will not listen to you. So this is the thing. And I can tell you, given how loaded September is in terms of the INEC schedule for primaries and all that, nothing on this matter will be done in September. So the hands of the committee have been forced. The hand of the president has been forced because there's no way that the timeline can be met. There's no way this deadline can be met.
Okay. GKB, the variant to this is the fact that all 36 state governments, if not governors, cannot easily pay a uniform national minimum wage. You think that should have been part of the negotiation?
Well, the first point that the governors made when the committee was set up was about the ability to pay. And when the Minister of National Planning and one of our budgets were now bringing out figures on how this can be accommodated. It was just like speaking Latin to them. As far as especially second-term governors, as far as they are concerned, this is no longer their problem. They are going to weasel and weasel until after the election and pass the buck to the next governor. And those on their first term are going to hold on to that till until this matter rolls over. It's one of the tragedies of our federation that the national minimum wage is something we are still discussing this late in the day. Because by now we expect that an APC
And this is a
government-
constitutional matter.
Yeah, that must be done every
5
few years.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, the Nigerian Federation is skewed in such a way that is a governor's, like my son would say, governor-cracy. We are running a government by governors, for governors, and by governors. And so far they've shown, not only do they install those they want to install, they now make sure that even constitutional provisions that are standard can be subverted to the whim and caprices of what they do. But having said that, this is the perfect opportunity for us as a nation to find out exactly what we need to do to ensure that statutory constitutional requirements are met constantly by those in government. Because you and I know that if they didn't pay, and they have no plans of paying, or even doing a figure they can work with, nothing will happen.
GKB, let me quickly talk with Benga. Benga is here, reaching us from Abuja. Benga, how are you?
I'm fine, Mr. Jones.
Welcome.
And the guys there, I'm fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
Yep.
A quick one. I agree with Mr. Gide that the handler of the media for presidency should focus on his work. At the same time, what they did is a response to what Tambua said. That
Yeah, you know, Benga, let us talk. Let's discuss this particular matter.
For the
I
minimum
beg.
wages,
Yeah.
let me tell you, we know that the states are not ready. And what they should do is that the presidency or the federal government should go ahead and do whatever it can do. Because if they fail, the opposition is there to use it against them. They will not say the states were not ready. They will say Buhari made promise he cannot fulfill. So the federal government should go ahead and do what it can do. That's my own.
Okay. It's a tripartite group, you know, tripartite.
That's what I said.
Yeah, so
Labour government.
just one particular arm of the tripartite arrangement
Very important
cannot take a
And,
unilateral decision.
One other thing that Ngige said that is important for us to know, because on Facebook, Facebook has been the biggest outlet for liars,
Bogus stories.
ignoramuses, and
Fabricators.
I'm sure.
big time falsehood peddlers.
I
You know
imagine I'm reading you. You are
know why I'm saying
that place. Yeah.
You know why I'm saying that? A couple of weeks back, it was celebrated on Facebook, especially supporters of the APC, that a new allowance for youth corps members.
Corps members.
Had
In fact, they gave it the figure
they even-
50,000.
Yes.
From 18.
Now Ngige is telling us that there's no truth in it. Why do we enjoy lying like people who have no God? What do we gain?
Jide, without
How does it always start?
Without knocking Ngige for any reason.
No,
so
he said the truth.
but why are we waiting? Why it came out over 2 weeks now? So something should have been done.
No, but the thing is, just as I said, is it every time that a mischievous person holding a cheap phone begins
And free data.
begins to post something that has no basis in reality? Is it every time that a minister will now
I
respond?
did say to myself, you cannot pay the minimum wage, but you are raising the allowance of youth corpers, and they run into thousands.
But as we have seen now,
Face
as we have seen now,
Face the test of
as we have
logic.
seen, the minister said there's no truth in it. There's no truth in it. So it takes just one mischievous fellow to sit down and begin to lie.
Fabricate.
This is really the season of falsehood. And someone begins to lie and begins to say, oh, we are doing a great deal, this and that. And then, before you know it, people will externalize it, they will start sharing it and all that. And the whole nation will become fooled. So the minister said there's no truth in it. It was part of what he said.
No,
So it is bad news, double bad news, because for many workers, they can't wait for this minimum wage issue to be resolved because it's a constitutional matter. The Constitution stipulates that you must increase minimum wage after a number of years in line with economic trends. Inflation and the rest of them. It just makes sense. What you could buy with 10 naira 3 years ago, you can't buy now. It's just like when people say, oh, why did INEC budget go so high this time around? They've forgotten that during Jonathan's time, the exchange rate was less than 200 to $1. And a lot of the stuff that they are going to use, they are going to ship in from Europe and America. So,
GKB, management, information management, very key. We can digress and touch on it because it's key here. And makes a fool and nonsense, total nonsense of what we are doing here, you know, if the social media can be an alternative so-called source of news.
There's a Yoruba proverb that says that it is the dogs of nowadays that we use to chase the rabbits of nowadays.
Oh, really?
So you can't use an old dog with the old system to chase the rabbits of today. They have new skills. So you cannot, when I told the minister, there was a meeting we had and I told the Minister of Information, I said, while it is not good to bark at every tree that you see, there must be a reactionary time period that will make sense. Because all our people have their own mind. They are easily fooled. So many times we've written about this. What are the things to look for in the fake news? If it is too good to be true, then it is not true. That's the basic law for whoever does journalism. Because once you see the story, you will know that this story has no backup, has no facts, has not to back it up. But if you work for government and you think you can still use the old system of the daily news at 7 a.m. in the morning to react, you will lose the plot. So what they needed to do, like I told some of them, which I would also repeat it on here, is that check every threat that comes in the form of fake news. Determine the level of threat it poses, and then move against it. While you don't have to react all the time, there must be things that you need to do to ensure that people know this is fake news.
All right. Johnson has joined us from Kaduna, so we'll welcome him.
Good evening.
Baraka to you. Welcome. Baraka de Salah.
Good evening, Jide. Good evening, citizen.
Yeah, I greet you.
Good evening, Ghanaian. Yeah, Baraka de Salah too.
Thank you.
The issue of this minimum wage, please, we want to know. I for one, look at Kogi State, for instance. That is Babajide's former state.
Yes.
And Yaya Bello, who cannot pay minimum wage of 18,000, pay whatsoever that will be agreed on. And this is the same man that said he can jump into the well, jump into the river, kill himself for Buhari. Now Buhari is saying, come, let us discuss. At least Ngege speaking for the president, he's speaking for the federal government. Come, let us agree. Let us do something so that we can pay minimum wage. But this same man that can kill himself for Buhari is refusing to come. He's one of the characters that are damaging the present government. And bet you it will be used against, because you go to APC platform now, it's already there, minimum wage everywhere. But these same characters are failing to show up. And it's being used against them. There's no way about it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, then. So as you were saying.
So what those who manage the president or governors has to do is stay within the focus of what the governors are doing, or what the president is doing, as an answer to most fake news. For example, somebody says, Citizen Jones is doing ABC, and I'll pick out as your spokesperson things that I know you've done, and then put it in the public sphere. I don't need to reply to that person. Once they look through the list, they will know whatever they are saying is not true, because it's not part of what you put out there. It's not rocket science.
Just like in football, when you say that the opponent is trying to force you to play to their own pattern, you need to play to your own strengths. Don't allow them, if it is actually route one, that is the style of the other team, just kicking the ball straight from the goalkeeper to the goal mouth of the opponent.
In short, don't chase the game. Don't make them chase it.
Stick to your own style, because your own style that you have tested over time will deliver the right result. But if in the course of the game you are trying to to play the way
They are playing.
the opponent plays. That is the style of the opponent. And at the end of the day, you'll be trumped. So this is the thing. They have to constantly redirect the narrative to that which the government is doing so that the people will see clearly what the government is doing. They can't always go to a wrestling match with a pig.
You will lose.
Because you will lose. The pig will be happy to rub his body in the mud. But you will not want to do that.
They say if you discuss with a fool, he drags you to his level and beats you with experience.
Yes,
so
that's a bit too silly.
Silly.
Because you are not used to it.
We say talk less but say more.
Yeah.
So we need a rethinking. There must be a
That's why I give it that program.
yeah, I understand. Governors now, it's not necessarily putting them in a box.
No.
You are the strong man.
Inevitably now, if the minister has exposed them as being the people who are not making this to work.
Yeah.
So Nigerians, and a lot of them are are seeking re-election. So in an election year, people must ask questions. Buhari once said it when he met, I think, with a group of traditional rulers, that he has released bailout, budget support and all that, that he's not happy to hear that people are not paying.
Yeah.
So if the president is not happy that people are not paying, the governors who find it difficult to pay salaries, as if payment of salary is rocket science, governors who lack invention, who can't come up with ideas about how they can generate money, he holds it to the rest of us to chase such governors away from
to the ends of the earth.
If you chase them, they should not be coming around him because they are smearing him, they are diminishing him by their fake loyalty. Because indeed, it's because they know that they amount to nothing without the president. That is why they are coming around the president.
And the thing becomes even more demanding when you realize many of these governors belong in the same party as the president.
Yeah, but the party is just, I don't want to use the word umbrella.
That's a very
okay.
For them to get power. And like he said, there are one or two governors that we know that have absolutely given up on governance. All they do is go to Abuja, old courts with the president. President go for Jumat, they are there. President go to the toilet, they are at the door to ensure that he did it very well. And they've abandoned their states.
Yes.
And these people are the closest to the president in terms of visibility, not in terms of
well, you may not actually respect them. There are
well,
some
you ought
governors.
to by now you should tell them, go back home.
He needs to tell them.
And do your job.
He needs to tell them. But you see, the problem is that politicians value loyalty more than anything.
Yeah,
otherwise, the president should be able to face some of these people, this governor, and say, why? You can't even talk to them and say, okay, back at the hiking. That every time you are here,
you don't get work
back at the hiking, don't you have work?
All right, let's go to Ogun State. Somebody is waiting. I greet you, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
I beg, give me your name, because
My name is Pastor Joseph from Ogun State.
All right, Pastor, let's go.
I really appreciate the good work you are doing there, more especially Babajide, who is always standing on the way of the truth. God will continue blessing and keeping you and keeping all of you.
Amen.
Yeah. It is good to stand on the truth.
Yes.
Going to the discussion. You see, right from the inspection of this government, we have been hearing all sorts of lies from different quarters. Lying to Nigerians. And I say that the worst enemy of this country are those people who are lying to Nigerians. How can they be lying to us? Almost everything. They lie that the Boko Haram have been defeated. They lie that the minimum wage. They lie in everything. Almost everything they are lying to us. When will they come out to tell us the truth? Okay, I don't want to exonerate anybody. If president is against all these things they are saying, he should come out and address the country and tell the governors, go and pay. We have already increased minimum wage. Pay your workers. If they have not increased minimum wage, they should tell the country the truth. Like Mohammed will come and be telling us all sorts of lies.
No. I take an exception to that. You know, you can please don't personalize it. Okay, we are not image makers for the information minister. We say it as it is.
See, can we have a situation in which governors get owed 7 months' salary?
Or legislators.
Or the federal legislators, you know,
get
they have
owed
elephant size.
2 months. 2 months.
Size,
or even a month.
Humongous salaries.
Can we have that situation? Let it even happen. Let us see. So that they won't find the money with which they chase girlfriends, the money with which that they waste in luxury hotels in Dubai and other places. As we speak now, many of them are outside the country.
Yeah.
They go to Dubai, they take girlfriends to Dubai, they do what they like because we are overpaying them. We pay them far too much than they deserve to be paid. Can we even have that situation? For them to stay, to not be paid salary, or allowances, because the allowances are bigger than their salary. For them not to even get their allowances for 7 months. Let them see. You know why I'm asking for 7 months? Because there are states where people have been owed 21 months. 21 months.
Okay, 14 months.
There are pensioners who have not been paid for more than 20 months.
Yeah.
In this country, we transfer policemen to new state, and we don't pay them their allowances.
Yeah.
Policemen die, and their families will wait and wait and wait for them. Yes, for them to get some form of compensation. But these guys simply take care of themselves more than enough. They give themselves, they allocate security votes to themselves, and their security vote is always very hefty. And at the end of the day, they can't do enough for the worker.
The viewer must understand that northeast, southeast, and parts of southwest receive so much in security votes. I can tell you that. Okay then, but in taking this home, there's been no new allowance for the Youth Service Corps members.
They're not even thinking about it.
They're not broaching it. And like an overhang is the new national minimum wage. So beg your governor. I'm going to attempt to beg mine. Please take a second look at it. Now, I heard Benue State is perhaps the most raked by suspected mindless herdsmen in our federation, and its governor, Samuel Ortom, a most provoked helmsman. Now, reprieve for the governor and inhabitants came yesterday when a reconstruction of infrastructure damaged in the wake of herdsmen attacks was kicked off by the governor. In all, about 28 damaged facilities are to be rehabilitated by both the federal authorities and the Benue administration. Governor Ortom would like the federal government to address the insecurity that provoked the farmers' herdsmen crisis in the first place. Better to start from there.
Yeah.
Stem this thing, and then we can rebuild in peace.
At least one is happy to report that there is progress in Benue State and in Zamfara State. The army has descended on them. The Air Force has descended on the killer herdsmen. And on Saturday, 21 killer herdsmen were killed, you know, in Guma local government. That's the local government of the governor, Samuel Ortom.
Yeah.
In fact, his hometown, Bajimba, has been one of the worst hit. You know, so when people go around with the notion that, oh, the governor is killing his people, you know that it's a governor whose home farm and farmhouse had been attacked in the past. How does he get to do that? We told them that, look, this has nothing to do with politicians. This problem is largely economic and ecological. The herdsman is looking for where to graze for his cattle, looking for a grazing area for his cattle. And those two local governments, Guma and Logo, are the most fertile in the whole of Nigeria. You see the lush green vegetation, you are excited. You know, so now, with the deployment of the Air Force has visited maximum force on these areas. So those guys are being chased even out of communities that they not only chase farmers away, but they occupied.
And they renamed.
You know? They've not chased them, they've chased them out of those communities.
And renamed it.
They chased them out of those Benue communities. Now in Benue, the people are returning home gradually so that they can go and continue their farming. And it's just fitting that reconstruction, remember the vice president went there around April and promised that the government will spend about 700 million on rebuilding public institutions and all that. Now, in tandem with the state government, the rebuilding has begun, involving 21 communities in 3 local governments of Guma, Logo, and Agatu. These are the 3 local governments that are usually targeted by the killer
imagine the extent of the
trauma. Yes, no, this is more than 300 schools set ablaze. But the pattern of killing by herdsmen is similar to Boko Haram. That's why some people would think that, oh, is it Boko Haram that has gone to this area? But Boko Haram does not go around with cattle. So where you see these people, you also see cattle. So now the good thing, because maximum force is being exerted on them, there is relative peace. Look at the town, Umbalom, that we focused on the other day. They first chased the people away, but the people are back now because the Air Force bombed them out of the town. Okay. So the place is safe now. So this is what is happening.
Even if relatively.
Yeah, at least relatively. No, even the attempt by them to return to killing people, as exemplified last Saturday, has been resisted. We lost a soldier, but 21 killer headsmen were killed. And even the madman in Katsina Ala, Ghana, who also has been killing people, the Air Force has visited thunder on him. So nobody knows where Ghana is now. So the people who are killing our people, as I've always said, the president knows what to do. Respond promptly. That's why do we have the Air Force? Why do we have the Army? Why do we have the Navy? Nobody can be stronger than the state. Set them loose on these people. When you set them loose on these people, you will see that we'll have peace. That is what is happening. Don't go around blaming politicians, this and that, when you should actually send soldiers to do their jobs.
GKB, so you have a balance of terror.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing we need to do is what we said on this program last year. You do not give room for little monsters to become big monsters.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we've done in the last 3 years. We're looking for excuses and looking for reasons to pass the buck. Now that the president or whoever is commanding the elements have decided that enough is enough, you can see that there's a lowdown on the scale of violence. Even in Sanfara, where the bandits have turned themselves into another government entirely. But it's not yet Uhuru. Because the problem, I don't want to say problem of the black man, problem of our politicians is that they lose focus easily.
Yes.
Once you have these little successes, they divert to something else.
Even withdraw them from there. That's what the governor was saying, that they should not withdraw them now.
Yeah.
That there's no need to withdraw them now. Still keep them.
Yeah, keep them there until the thing gets to a point that attacking villages no longer become fashionable. But now people, in the next 2-3 months, another theater of war will open up. We'll withdraw these people. And those people that we thought we have defeated will now regroup and come back again. And that's part of the lack of impunity that we have as a people. We just assume that everything is all right. Most countries, as you know, already have what they call scenarios planted out in case of A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
It's only in Nigeria you don't have this. And that's the problem we face.
Because in this country, you likely have the it's not my portion syndrome, which has something in.
A sense of religiosity is there from being, having faith. You just like the idea of religion. We don't like the tenets. That's why we don't keep it. Yeah. I just like the idea that people think I'm a Christian. But we don't, the tenets itself is not
religiosity. Okay. Impotent religiosity.
Yeah. Important, really, can you imagine that? So we have a call from London, and he has gladly joined us. I greet you, sir.
Yeah, hi, good evening. My name is Tunde. I'm calling from London.
Emmanuel, I greet you.
Tunde.
Oh, Tunde?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah. My contribution is this. We had a period or a time in Nigeria a couple of years ago when people could come out and fight for petrol, the price of petrol. We have a civil rights group, and these people are not doing anything to fight for Nigeria to increase their wages or their salary. The local governments, what are they there for? Then we have governors. I heard Babajide saying that they should withhold their wages, salary, or whatever it might be. But my take is this. Why don't they make a law whereby civil servants get paid before the governors? And that is it. It's just as simple as that.
That would be fine. That would be fine.
So let the masses get paid first, then you eat later. And that will solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot say withhold. When you withhold, it's going to generate more interest and what you name. They will find other ways. But go by the fact that the lower paid people get paid before their masters.
Yeah, Tunde, but thank you. Except that it's a given that if you work for 30 days,
You should be paid.
You should be paid. You don't need a special
What
law.
are the clergymen doing? The clergymen are not coming out to preach against this thing.
Which
You know
of
what I'm
them?
saying?
Name
We have
one.
the Muslim
Name
clergy
one,
and the
Tunde,
Christian
Tunde, but
clergy.
thank you.
Yeah,
So
the Holy Quran even says that the laborer is entitled to his wages before his sweat dries.
Dries on his body.
That's it.
That's what the Holy Quran says. So
today is
it
a
just
Salah.
shows that a lot of these governors
They
are
are
not.
not- they are not-
It's a Salah day.
They don't believe in the religion that they profess.
A great many of us are impulsively religious. When make their no talk, say I no follow go, and so on. So,
We like the idea of religion.
oh yeah,
We don't like the tenants.
Good luck to both of you. All right, in taking this home, therefore, we are saying good for Benue people and especially the governor who had been harassed in the last 2-3 months. So reprieve is coming, and so it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
GKB, let me thank you for your time. Thank you very
Always a
kindly
pleasure
for.
to be here.
And Jide Otitojo, I cannot thank you enough.
I greet you.
I can't wait for when you return to your old state. I can't wait for it.
Well, it's in the hands of God.
Okay.
It's in the hands of God.
And man.
God knows the conditions that I have set out must be met.
But seriously speaking, I think it's a little dementing to want to think you live in a country where it's difficult to be good. I don't think it is. That will be all on Journalist Hangout today. If you missed this, watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel is the same, but I remain yours sincerely, Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now.